You went on birth control, your skin cleared. You felt like you finally figured it out. Then you came off of it and your skin fell apart. So you went back on the birth control, or maybe you tried Spironolactone, or you cut out dairy, you drank spearmint tea, you took saw palmetto supplements, you got your blood work done, and you're still wondering what's wrong with your hormones making you break out. So many women say they have hormonal acne, but what does that even mean? Are your hormones really the reason you can't clear your skin? Or is there something else going on that nobody has explained to you yet? Hi, I'm Camille and I have PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. It's a hormonal disorder and I struggled with acne for over 16 years in connection with my PCOS. My hormones are still nothing close to perfect, but despite that, I have had clear skin for over 10 years now. So what changed where I was able to have this kind of skin? Well, I understood what my hormones were actually doing to my skin. And this actually led me to becoming a cosmetic formulator. Not because it was my dream, but it was out of necessity of trying to figure out what was going on with my skin when nothing was working. So now I've been running a skincare manufacturing facility for the last 10 years, and I've helped thousands of women that are battling with hormonal acne. So today I'm going to show you why hormones are a real part of your acne story. However, they are not the whole story, and what the missing pieces are that have been keeping you stuck. So last week I was on Facebook and I was in an acne support group. A woman asked why she keeps breaking out on her chin, and she said her cycle's completely normal. She's eating clean. She's done the elimination of dairy, sugar, gluten. She's done all the things. She just wants to know, is it hormonal or something else? So the comments, and you probably have seen this even on Reddit or whatever group you're in, the comments came flooding in from group members. The first one said, test your DHEA-S. The next one said, check your estrogen to progesterone ratio. The next one said, it's probably your cortisol that's a problem. And the next woman behind her said, well, cortisol isn't even a hormone. And then the woman pipes in, yes, it is. So they were going back and forth. Try spearmint tea, get a Dutch test. While they all were trying to help, no clear answer was provided as to why any of these things would cause her to break out. It was just a list of things to test and comments contradicting each other. But here's what's interesting about this thread. Most of them weren't wrong. Hormones absolutely play a role in acne. The problem is nobody in that thread could explain exactly what that role is. And without understanding that, you end up with a list of things to test, but no real picture of what's actually happening inside your skin and what to do to solve this problem. So I'd like to show you exactly what is happening, because once you see the full picture, the reason why nothing has really fully worked, it's going to make complete sense. So I'd like to first start with androgens, and maybe you've heard that term before. Why? Because they're a precursor to testosterone, DHEA-S, and DHT. If you've ever had blood work done, you probably have seen these on it, and you've read about them in every hormonal acne thread you've ever gone down. Here is what they are actually doing in regards to how they affect your acne. So when androgens rise in the body, they signal to your sebaceous glands, which are the glands inside your pores, to produce more oil. Sebaceous glands produce sebum, and when they are triggered, they create this oil. That oil builds up inside the pore, and then bacteria that already lives on your skin mixes with it, and it combines with dead skin that's hanging around, and it creates a sticky combo that creates a plug inside the pore. The more consistently your oil glands are being triggered, the deeper, more inflamed that process becomes, which is how surface breakouts turn into that kind of acne that becomes painful and cystic and really aggressive. And on its own, it makes sense. More androgens being created in the body equals more oil being produced by the sebaceous glands. More oil means more breakouts, which is exactly why everyone tells you to fix your hormones. But androgens are only one part of the hormonal picture. And the next one is the one that tends to hit the hardest, because it's triggered by something that happens to every single one of us every single day. And that's cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. That does something that most people have never had explained to them. When cortisol spikes, it does two things. It signals to your oil glands to produce more sebum, as known as your skin's natural oil that we talked about, and it weakens and breaks down your skin barrier at the same time. The very thing that is designed to keep acne-causing bacteria out, your skin barrier, and prevent that excess oil from becoming a breakout, is being torn down by cortisol. The problem with cortisol is most people don't realize how easily it is for this to be released in your body. So here are a few examples of things that cause cortisol spikes. Very common activities like sitting in traffic when you're already late, cortisol can spike. Getting into an argument with someone you love, cortisol can spike. Opening a bill you weren't expecting. Lying awake at 3 a.m. thinking about that test or that meeting that's coming up tomorrow. These are all daily experiences for everyone. Even the stress about your acne is causing the cortisol that's causing acne. So you can see that your cortisol is easily triggered, which can become a problem. And just saying you need to manage your stress in the world we live in is like saying we just have to hold our breath for a few hours. No matter how hard you try, it's not going to be perfect all the time. Now, the next hormone is a little quieter. You won't feel that spike the way you feel stress when that shows up in your body. But for a lot of women with persistent acne, it's been running in the background their entire life. And this is progesterone. When it's low, and mine is currently low, it plays a role in regulating how aggressively testosterone converts into DHT. Now, DHT is a significantly more potent androgen than testosterone, meaning it triggers your oil glands even more aggressively. And when progesterone is low, that conversion can become less regulated. So researchers are still mapping out exactly how this works at the skin level, but the connection between low progesterone and increased DHT activity is very well documented. For women who break out consistently in the week before their period, when progesterone drops, this is likely what you're seeing. The next hormone is linked to your thyroid. When thyroid function is low, your dead skin cells stop shedding the way they should. Dead skin cells that should be clearing out every day start stacking up inside your pores. For women with acne, this becomes a major problem on its own. Since most acne sufferers' skin cells shed between 1 to 5 times more than non-acne prone. Add low thyroid function on top of it and your pores are getting congested faster than any exfoliant you have ever used can keep up with it. And this process continues and leads to deep, painful cystic acne. Our last hormone on the list is insulin. When blood sugar spikes, insulin rises. And here's the part most people never get told. Elevated insulin directly triggers your androgen levels to rise. The same androgens we just talked about that signal to your glands to overproduce oil in your skin. That is why what you eat matters. Not because dairy is some special acne trigger, but because anything that spikes your blood sugar, like dairy, fast food, refined carbohydrates, white bread, sugars, and any form, frappuccinos at Starbucks, spike your insulin. And spiked insulin means more androgens, and more androgens means more oil, and more oil means more breakouts. I think you're getting the point here. So if you notice, there was a pattern to what all these different hormones do. That pattern was they all increase the amount of oil your body produces for your skin. So yes, all of these hormones are connected to acne, and the standard explanation, hormones go up, oil goes up, pores clog, and you break out. Fix the hormones, you fix your skin problem, right? Well, it's not necessarily wrong, it's just incomplete. And that's the part that's missing, and it's been what's destroying your results from where you want to actually get to. Everyone has been focused on fixing the hormonal levels as the cause of acne. That approach ultimately leaves you working on just your hormones and not a deeper problem. And what I mean by a deeper problem is this. Research actually shows women with acne don't consistently have higher hormone levels than women with clear skin, which may surprise you. When researchers measured androgen levels in women with acne versus women without acne, the hormone levels were often not significantly different between the two groups. What was different was how strongly their oil glands reacted to those hormones, meaning the woman next to you with clear skin may have the same exact hormone levels as you. She goes through those same hormonal shifts every month, but her oil glands barely react to those changes. Yours goes into overdrive. It's not that your hormones are higher or swing harder than everyone else's. It's just that your skin is more sensitive to those hormones that you have. And that sensitivity is what drives your oil glands to overproduce. So when androgens spike, whether it's during your cycle, during a stressful week, or just on a Tuesday for no obvious reason, they signal to your oil glands to produce more sebum, meaning more oil in your pores, and that oil mixes with dead skin cells and bacteria already present on your skin. And that's the combination that actually creates the breakout. So your hormones are real. The pattern you've noticed is real, but your hormones are not directly creating your breakouts. They are causing more oil to be made, and it's what happens to that oil next that determines everything. Whether there's excess dead skin cell buildup to trap that oil, whether bacteria is there to combine with the dead skin cells and the excess oil, and whether your skin barrier is strong enough to keep that combination from turning into a breakout. Adjusting your hormone levels doesn't change any of those three things. It doesn't clear the dead skin buildup. It doesn't address the bacteria, and it doesn't rebuild the barrier. The extra oil production comes back the moment any of the above hormones change, and there is no such thing as hormones not fluctuating in a woman on a monthly basis. That is why focusing on balancing your hormones can never fully solve the problem alone. And that's why you can have two different women with the same hormone panel and each of them have completely different skin. The difference was never their hormones, it was whether their skin had what it needed to keep that oil from becoming a problem. To show you exactly what I mean by that, I would like to show you my latest blood work and what my current hormone panel looks like. So if you notice, I have high cortisol, elevated DHEA-S, and that has been elevated for over 10 years now, low progesterone, and low thyroid. These are all common patterns for those dealing with PCOS. Now, I've been working with functional medicine doctors, endocrinologists, and naturopaths on my hormones since my mid-20s. Not for clear skin, but for my overall health. As you can see, these numbers are nothing close to perfect, and women should be testing their hormones to see how they can help support their body. So on paper, I should have hormonal acne. However, you can see clearly that I don't. Here's the thing. Everyone has been focused on fixing the hormonal levels as the cause of your acne. Ultimately, this leaves you treating your hormones and your skin as if they're two separate problems. And that's why blood work alone will never give you the full picture. Some women have dramatically elevated androgens on paper and completely clear skin. Some women have perfectly normal labs and can't get a breakout to go away no matter what they do. Maybe you can relate to that. The difference isn't in the blood. It's how the skin is responding to what those hormones are doing. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not saying blood work is a waste of time. For women with PCOS, and just as we age, our hormones fluctuate. This is part of helping our health, irregular cycles, adrenal issues. Understanding your hormone levels matters a lot for your overall health. And I've been doing blood work tests for years now. But blood work for clearing up your acne is only one piece of the information. It's just not the whole answer. And for a lot of you, it's become a dead end because you've gotten the numbers back, you worked on balancing them, and nothing changed with your skin. This is because adjusting your hormone levels doesn't change how your skin responds to them. And that is exactly what sends so many women down the road of, I need to go on birth control, or spironolactone is the only answer. For those who do try it, it can clear their skin and it feels like they finally solved the problem. But then if you come off the pill or you stop taking the medication, sometimes the acne comes back, sometimes worse than before. And the reason this makes sense is when you think about what these medications actually do. So like spironolactone, it blocks androgens, or birth control, it suppresses ovarian androgen production. The thing is, when you stop taking those, androgens come right back. And the skin they come back to is exactly the same skin they left. So nothing's changed. Not how sensitive it is to those hormones, not how well it handles the excess oil they trigger, not how effectively it clears the buildup of dead skin cells that clogged your pores and turned that oil into a breakout. The medication never built or improved anything. It only suppressed those hormones from triggering the problem. And here's what makes it worse. Most women taking these types of hormonal treatments are also using skincare products like typical acne treatments, benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, retinoids, and other harsh ingredients that damage the skin barrier, simply because Everyone believes with acne, the more aggressive it equals effective. So while the medication is suppressing the hormonal signal and oil glands stop triggering as much, the routine you're using, if you're using traditional acne treatments, is actively breaking down and weakening your skin's barrier at the exact same time. That post I showed you at the start of the video, all those women trying to help and none of them able to fully explain the big picture, nobody in that thread could answer her question, not because they didn't care, but it was because they were all focused on her hormones and completely ignoring what was happening inside her pores. Why they keep clogging, why that oil keeps turning into breakouts. Because sebum in itself is not bad. Sebum is a lubricant for our skin. So why nothing she's putting on her face has been able to stop it. Your skin barrier is not just the outer layer of your skin you can see and touch. It's a precisely constructed seal. Think of it like bricks and mortar of a wall. So if you look at the construction, the bricks are your skin cells, and in between that, the mortar between them is specific mixture of fatty acids, ceramides, cholesterol. That mortar is what holds everything together. It keeps bad bacteria out, it holds the moisture in, it maintains a slightly acidic environment that keeps harmful bacteria in check and beneficial bacteria thriving. Every harsh product that ever stripped that mortar, not the bricks, the mortar, the structure looks intact from the outside, but your seal is gone. And once the seal is gone and everything that was supposed to stay out gets in, and for skin that means more breakouts. Think about that a second. Recent studies have shown that many of us have been using the same products that damages our skin barrier, aka stripped that mortar, to try to fix the breakouts that happened in the first place because your skin's barrier was weak in the first place. The benzoyl peroxide, the salicylic acid, the retinoids, the exfoliating acids, every single one of them designed around the same logic: strip the oil, attack that bad acne-causing bacteria, dry out your skin. So you're not failing to fix the problem, you are making the problem worse every single day using the products you were told to use to fix the problem. See, there's a conundrum in this. And the studies on what these products are really doing to acne-prone skin types are telling a different story. So it's time someone told you what that story is, and that's why I recorded this video about your skin barrier and your microbiome, because you will be surprised behind the scenes of how these acne treatments are keeping you stuck. So you should check that out next, and what I share in this video, because it will surprise you and you will be asking, how has the skincare industry been able to do this, and is it legal?